Hello children, today we will do revision 6, class 3, SST, revision 6. We will do revision on chapter 3, the land features. Revision 6 on chapter 3, the land features. But children, before we start discussing about land features and the questions that I have set for you all, I have got some queries about SST of the previous chapters that we had done. Okay, so let us quickly go through it. There are not much, there are 2 of them, and I had got more, but those were all discussed during the revision. If you all go through the videos that we have given for revision, go through all the revision 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you will get all your answers. This was to those who had given the queries for SST class 3. Okay, all the answers has been already discussed in those revision. These 2 are not discussed, which I am giving you all. Okay, now you can see the queries I have written. There are 2 as such, which is very easy. I hope you all will understand. First is the fill in the blanks from the earth our home. Okay, about a quarter of the earth's surface is dash. Right, children, the question, this fill in the blanks, everyone of you all should know. I had explained you all know while discussing this chapter, the earth our home, that the earth, if we divide our earth into 4 parts. Okay, if we divide our earth into 4 parts, suppose this is our earth, right? If we divide it into 4 parts, then we can say that 3 parts is water and only 1 part is land. Okay, this each part is known as the quarter. Okay, so 1 quarter, the 2nd quarter and the 3rd quarter, these are water, and only 1 quarter is land. So as the question goes, about a quarter of the earth's surface is dash. So about a quarter, only 1 quarter of the earth's surface is what? The 3 part is water and 1 part is land. So the answer to this question is about a quarter of the earth's surface is land. Got it? Now next, who are early man? This is from the story of early man. This also I have told you all while discussing the chapter, but still one of you all have brought this up. So let me give you all the answer. Man who lived on earth more than 400,000 years ago are known as early man. Got it? So man who lived on the earth more than 400,000 years ago are called or are known as early man. Got it? Rest, if you all had sent any queries, those queries has been already discussed in the revisions. Okay, from you all check, you all go through all the revisions, revision 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all your answers has been given. So now we will move on with discussion of revision 6, the land features. Now the land features we will first discuss. We will first quickly recapitulate what we have done in the land features, and then I will give you all the 3 sets of questions, which are actually the questions which are from the back of the chapters. Only few I have included as from my own. Okay, so let us quickly brush up our memory, and then we will go towards the question and answers. Okay, so the land features, when we had discussed this chapter, we had discussed that India is a very large country, isn't it? And it is the 7th largest country in the world, and India has massive population, okay, has a large population, and it is second to China. The first country to have the largest population is China, and India is second. Got it? And as India is a vast country, it is the seventh largest country. It has a variety of land surfaces, land features. Okay, it has fertile plains, high snow-covered mountains, hot and dry desert lands, and the heaviest rainfall also is recorded in India. And India extends from Kashmir in the north to Kanyakumari in the south. Among the features, we had learnt about the mountains and the hills, plains, that is the northern plain, coastal plain, the valleys, rivers, plateau, desert, islands, and forest. We had discussed about each features of India thoroughly, isn't it? So let us quickly go through it. We had discussed about mountains and hills. We had discussed that mountains are a group of hills rising quite high above the surrounding land, and it has a pointed top which is called a peak. Okay, and Mount Everest in the Himalayas is the highest peak in the world. It is in Nepal. Other mountain ranges are Satpuras, Vindhyachal, Eastern Ghats, Aravallis, Western Ghats, etc. Okay. And a hill is a rocky piece of land which rises gently to a medium height. Okay, mountains are very high, they are huge, they are high, higher than hills, and hills are land which rises gently to a medium height. Okay, and some of the hill ranges in India are Naga Hills, Garo Hills, etc. We had talked about plains. We had talked for plains that plain is a wide stretch of level land. Okay, and in our country land is the land is good for farming, and as we know, India is a land of agriculture. The main occupation of people of India is agriculture. Okay, and the land for agriculture, for farming is very good. Okay, many of the rivers originate in the Himalayas and they flow through these northern plains. Okay, and this makes the land very rich and fertile. So if the soil is not rich, if the soil is not fertile, then we cannot grow good crops. So because the northern plains, the plains are rich and they are fertile, that is why we can grow good crops. Okay. India, which lies just south of the Himalayas, it is called the northern plain. Okay, it stretches from Punjab in the west to Assam in the east. Okay, and the states of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, and parts of Assam are covered by northern plains. Now, rivers such as Ganga, Yamuna, Satluj are important rivers which flows in these plains, and there are some also plains which runs along the sea coast in the southern part. They are called the coastal plains. They are called coastal plains because they they stretch along the coast. Okay, sea coast. That is why. Rivers such as Krishna, Narmada, Kaveri, Godavari, Mahanadi flow into these plains, and finally they fall into the sea. Finally they merge into the sea. They drain out into the sea. Okay. Next we had learned about valleys. What is a valley? A valley is a low and even land between two mountains. When we draw two mountains, isn't it, the land which is between the two mountains, that is called a valley. Rivers, when we are coming to rivers, we will talk about most of the rivers which emerge out of high mountains and flow down to plains. Okay, those rivers are Ganga, Yamuna, Indus, Satluj and Brahmaputra, which originate in the Himalayas and flow throughout the year. They flow throughout the year. Why? Because they are snow-fed mountains. Himalaya mountains are snow-capped, isn't it? And they get water throughout the year because of the melting of snow. Okay. These rivers bring fertile soil with water and leave it in the plains, and thus the plains become very rich and fertile. Got it? And the central and southern parts of our country also have rivers. The rivers of central India, Narmada, Tapi, Chambal, we had discussed about all these rivers which run through the central India, and the rivers of south are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. Then we had discussed about plateau. What a plateau? Plateau, a high level land rising steeply from surrounding area. So this is called the plateau. Now in the southern part of our country there is a huge plateau called the Deccan Plateau, and it consists of hills with flat top. Actually plateaus are hills, but they have flat top. They do not have peak, pointed top. Okay. And we know that land is rocky over here, but still lands can be tilled. That means crops could be plowed. Okay. Grown here. Next we have the desert. The Thar desert is the largest desert in India, and the desert is covered with snow, and as there is very low rainfall during the year, very few bushes and thorny plants grow in this region. Not much plants grow in this region because they do not get much of rain. Okay. Now next is islands. What is an island? An island is a piece of land which is surrounded by water on all four sides. Okay. And India is surrounded by water on three sides only. So India is a peninsula. Okay. But island is a piece of land which is surrounded by water on all the four sides. The Arabian Sea is to the west, the Indian Ocean to the south, and the Bay of Bengal to the east of our country. We had learnt about the direction north, south, east, west. So as India is surrounded by water on three sides, we will name that water which surrounds the boundaries of India to the south. They are the Arabian Sea to the west, the Indian Ocean to the south, and the Bay of Bengal to the east of our country. In the western and eastern sides, there are two groups of islands. We have two groups of islands in the eastern and western sides. One island group is in the east in the Bay of Bengal. It is called Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And the other island group is in the west in the Arabian Sea. It is called Lakshadweep. Next, the land feature we had talked about is the forest. The forest, in different parts of our country there are forests, and the mountain slopes are covered with forest and grass as well. And we get lots of valuable things from forest. We get wood, fuel and other forest articles from them. So forests are also equally important for us. And lastly, we had discussed about the land use. There are three patterns of land use in India, namely farmland that gives crops, forests that are sources of wood, and pasture lands where cattle graze. Okay. So to this we have come to the end of the discussion and brushing up of what we had done earlier. Now I will give you all the three sets of questions that I have set for you. First is the sheet 1, which is long question answers. Then we have the short question answers, and then we have the objective types of questions. The long question types and the short question types I will discuss with you all, but the objectives you all will do it by yourself because it is very easy and everything is given in the book. Okay. For the long question answers, you all will have to write it in 3 to 4 lines or sentences, and for short types you all can write it in 2 to 3 lines or sentences, or 1 to sentences also you all can write because it is very short question answers. And objectives you all will write it in just 1 or 2 words as necessary. You all need not have to write it in full sentences, the objective questions. Okay. You all will just write 1 word or 2 words, whichever is necessary. Got it? Now we will move on to the worksheets, the sheets that I have prepared for you all, the long question types. Now children, what you all can see, this is the first set of questions. These are long question types. Okay. You will have to write in 3 to 4 lines or 3 to 4 sentences. First we will come to the first question. Question number 1. What is a plateau? Differentiate between a mountain and a plateau. So first we will discuss what is a plateau. So for that answer you all will write a high level land rising steeply from surrounding area is called a plateau. It is on page 22 of your SST class 3 book. Okay. So once again let me repeat the answer for you. What is a plateau? A high level land rising steeply from surrounding area is called a plateau. Now the second part of the same question is differentiate between a mountain and a plateau. I repeat, differentiate between a mountain and a plateau. So to this you will write, for mountains you will write, mountains are groups of hills rising quite above the surroundings and have a pointed top called peak. Whereas plateau is a high level land rising steeply from surrounding but with a flat top. Got it? So first point what you will write, mountains are a group of hills rising quite above the surroundings and have a pointed top called peak. Whereas plateau is a high level land rising steeply from surrounding but with a flat top. The mountains have pointed top and plateau has flat top. Got it? Second point what you can write for this difference is mountains are higher than plateaus and on the opposite side you can write plateaus are lower than mountains. Got it? So you can write what? Mountains are higher than plateaus whereas plateaus are lower than mountain. These 2 points you need to write for this answer. Got it? Have you all understood this answer? Now we will quickly move on to question number 2. Ganga is an important river. Why? I repeat, Ganga is an important river. Why? We all know that Ganga is a very important river, na? But why we have to explain. So Ganga is a very important river. It originates in the Himalayas and it flows throughout the year. So first point what you are writing, Ganga originate in the Himalayas which flow through the plains of North India and they flow throughout the year. Got it? Next you will write, River Ganga bring fertile soil with its water and live in the plains, which makes the growing of crops very easy, isn't it? So they are bringing the fertile soil and as well as the water in it is helping in irrigation of the crops, isn't it? Irrigation means what? Irrigation means, it means watering of crops, okay? And Ganga brings lots of water with it and so the farmers does not find it very difficult to irrigate its crops, isn't it? The water is available in River Ganga. So what you can write, why River Ganga is very important? You can write River Ganga originate in the Himalayas and it flows throughout the plains of northern India and make the land rich and fertile. The River Ganga flows throughout the year and it brings fertile soil with its water and leave it in the plains, which makes the plain very fertile for growing of crops. Got it? What you have to write for this answer? So Ganga is an important river because Ganga river originates in the Himalayas and it flows through the plains of northern India and make the land rich and fertile. It flows throughout the year and the river of Ganga the river Ganga brings fertile soil with its water and leave it in the plains, which makes the soil very fertile for growing of crops. Have you all got the answer? Okay. Now we will move to question number 3. List the various land features India has. I repeat, list the various land features India has. We have discussed about so many land features that India has. So you can write the various land features India has are mountains and hills, plains, rivers, valleys, plateau, desert, islands and forest. Got it? What you all will write? You all will write India, the various land features India has. They are mountains and hills, plains, rivers, valleys, plateau, desert, islands and forest. Have you all got it? Now we will move on to the next question. Now question number 4 is differentiate between a plain and a desert. I repeat, differentiate between a plain and a desert. So what we can write? We can write first the definition of both of them. For plain we can write a plain is a fairly wide stretch of level land. Okay. And it is good for farming. Whereas desert are sandy plains with sand covered area. Okay. The land of plains are rich and fertile, and so there is a good yield of crops. But the land of desert is snow covered, sand covered. Okay. And as it gets very low rainfall throughout the year, very few bushes and thorny plants grow in this region. So what you can write for plains and deserts? You can write for plains, plain is a fairly wide stretch of level land and it is good for farming. The plains of northern India are rich and fertile as it receives heavy rainfall throughout the year. Okay. But whereas deserts are sandy plains which is covered with sand. There are very little rainfall in deserts throughout the year and so very few bushes and thorny plants grow in this region. So you all have understood what you all have you all are supposed to write for this answer. Differentiate between a plain and a desert. You will write a plain is a fairly wide stretch of level land and it has land which is good for farming. Next you will write the plains of northern India are rich and fertile as there is good heavy rainfall throughout the year which makes the land fertile and good for growing crops. And many crops are grown in plains. But whereas deserts are sandy plains with little rainfall and the land is covered with sand, and as it gets very low rainfall during the year, very few bushes and thorny plants grow in this region. Got it? What you will have to write for this answer? The difference between a plain and a desert, they are just the opposite. Plain is receiving water from the rivers, from the rainfall. Okay, but desert is not receiving water from the rain as there is not much rain throughout the year and there are no rivers at all. Okay, because it is a sandy plain and it is covered with sand, isn't it? So, a vast differences between a plain and a desert, which you have to write it in your own words. Now, question number 5. What has made India's plain so fertile? So, I repeat the question. What has made the India's plain so fertile? What you can write in this answer is that many of the rivers originate in the Himalayas, which flow through the plains of northern India and make the land rich and fertile. Have you all understood what you all have to write? It is on page 90. Many of the rivers originate in the Himalayas, which flow through the plains of northern India and make the land rich and fertile. Have you all understood what you all have to write? Okay. Now we will go on. These were your long questions. Now we will go on to the short question types. Next, now we have come to the short question types. Question number 1 is, what are mountains? The answer is, mountains are a group of hills rising quite high above the surrounding land. Got it? The answer is on page 19. I repeat, mountains are a group of hills rising quite high above the surrounding land. Next, question number 2. What is a hill? This answer you will get it on page number 20. A hill is a rocky piece of land which rises gently to a medium height. The answer is on page 20. A hill is a rocky piece of land which rises gently to a medium height. Now, question number 3. What is a desert? Question number 3. What is a desert? Sandy plains with little rainfall are called deserts. Understood what you all have to write? These are short answer questions. That is why you will just write to the point only. What is a desert? Sandy plains with little rainfall are called deserts. Okay. Now next question. What is a plateau? Question number 4. What is a plateau? This answer you will get it on page number 22. The answer, what is a desert? That answer also you will get it on page number 22. And what is a plateau? Question number 4. That answer is also on page number 22. A high level land rising steeply from surrounding area is called a plateau. It consists of hills with flat top. This you have to add. Okay. It is in the book only, but it is in the third line. So, the first line and the third line you have to add. A high level land rising steeply from surrounding area is called a plateau. It consists of hills with flat top. Got it? Now we will move to question number 5. There are 3 patterns of land use. Name them. So we have studied about land use. It is on page 23. There are 3 patterns of land use in India. They are farmland that gives crops, forests that are sources of wood, and pasture lines where cattle graze. These 3 points you just have to mention. Okay. Now question number 6. What do you mean by a peak of a mountain? What do you mean by a peak of a mountain? You just have to write the pointed top of a mountain is called a peak. So what do you mean by a peak of a mountain? The pointed top of a mountain is called a peak. Again I repeat, the pointed top of a mountain is called a peak. Now we will move on to the objective type of questions. Now these are the objectives. You will only have to write it in 1 word or 2 words. Okay. I will just go through the questions and I hope you will find all the answers. Everything is in the book. Just thoroughly go through the chapter and you will get all the answers. Question number 1. Name the highest mountain peak in the world. Question number 2. Where is Lakshadweep situated? Lakshadweep is an island. So you have to write where is it situated. In which ocean? Sea. Okay. Next. Number 3. Name the mountain which stand in the north of India. Question number 4. which sea lies to the southwest of India? Question number 5. Which sea is to the southeast of India? One is southwest and one is southeast. Got it? Now we'll move to next question. Next, question number 6. Name 2 rivers which flow throughout the year. There are many rivers which flow throughout the year. Okay, you just have to name any 2 rivers which flow throughout the year. Question number 7. Name the 2 groups of islands. There are 2 groups of islands, you have to just name them. And last question, name the largest desert in India. The largest desert in India, you have to name it. Okay. So, I hope children that you all have understood everything and you all can write all the answers because we have discussed it very thoroughly. You all will go through the chapter very thoroughly and then you all can get all the answers that we have given. Okay. So, thank you children for watching and bye for now.